Hello, and welcome to the Vorpal board stream on this Friday night. Tonight, I have with me a couple of special guests and a very special game for this evening. I'd like to introduce you all to Tyson and Ryan from the Tasty Humans dev and design team, who currently are running Tasty Humans as a Kickstarter. It went live, I believe, on Tuesday and is 91% funded already. So, first things first, before we even jump in, leave this tab, open up another tab, go to Kickstarter, type in Tasty Humans, and then click that green button. Or click the heart button and get a reminder with 48 hours. Either one, we're cool either way. Tyson and Ryan, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you guys showing up to play your game with me tonight.
Thanks for having us. We really appreciate you having us to play the game.
Yeah, so we're going to play a prototype of the game, which these guys were nice enough to send to me. I am in New York, and I am nowhere near them. They are spread across the country from me, so I'm playing a physical copy of the game, which you'll be able to see kind of off to the side here from me. And then these guys are in their houses, and they're going to play the game virtually by using the software that you guys see on your screen. This is Vorpal board, and they're able to interact with me while I play. And actually, we have shared pointers. They're able to move their own tokens around, and you'll kind of see as we go through the game how that works. First things first, I was on Twitter and I read a tweet from somebody, Ryan, about the origins of this game concept. And it seemed insane to me because I have played this already a number of times and I enjoyed it a lot, and I find it very, very elegant and a smart, well-designed game. And I heard that this game came in like the end of a 48-hour game jam for board game design. Tell me the genesis story of Tasty Humans.
Let's start in the beginning.
Yes, go way back.
Yeah, so I entered in a 48-hour board game design contest that was called Pangea, sponsored by Pangea Games, who is now publishing Tasty Humans. And at the beginning of the 48 hours was given the theme, "They tasted quite delicious," which you can see where I decided to take that theme. And the theme itself of the whole monsters eating adventures I had from the beginning. But about 24 hours in, I had a completely different idea than what you're seeing here. And it was not going very well, or I just didn't have a lot of confidence in where it was going. And so at the 24-hour mark, decided to pivot and kind of had this funny idea of what if, you're actually puzzling inside of the monster's stomach, trying to, increase its satisfaction. Ran with that. Kind of did the initial prototyping testing, and it was like, oh, these basic ideas are actually kind of fun, and pulled things together and some components in a rule book and submitted it, which little did I know at the time led to it winning the contest, and then connecting with both Tyson and Brandon over at Pangea and talking about potential for it moving forward. And here or I guess it's a little over a year since all that happened.
So
and here we are.
Ryan. I'm going to jump in and put in a piece that from my side of the story a little bit here as well, because I was the judge, one of 4 judges in this contest. We had something like 20 to 30 entrants. I can't remember the exact number of contestants. And I had set up all the judging stuff and handled it between the Gamesmiths, who was the playtesting service that I had started. But the way it happened is that I had to read 15 different rule books for the first round. And the second rule book I read was called Fantasy Feast, which is Tasty Humans. And I picked it up, and I immediately after finished reading it went to Brandon and I said, Brandon, this game's going to win the contest. I guarantee you right now this game's going to be the one that ends up winning. And then I went through and read the rest of them. We went through the contest, and sure enough, Tasty Humans was the one that took it, and we all agreed that it was the best design. So that was something that Ryan didn't get to see that side of it, but it was from its inception a very good, solid system that had a lot of potential, and we've just been able to develop it out from there and make it really, really great.
Yeah. So is that? I'm always very impressed by game jam ideas. I've done a couple. I'm a software engineer, so I've done a couple like video game jams, just kind of as a educational exercise because I really don't know what I was doing. I've never done anything with the board game space, but 48 hours, was that a lot of like your own inside your own head stress time, Ryan? Like what is that process as a, it was a one man show, right? This wasn't doing any work with a team. It was just you kind of working through concepts. I've never been involved in a board game game jam. So were you super stressed out?
I don't know about stressed out. Actually, like you, I had quite a bit of experience doing video game development jams, so that concept was pretty familiar to me, and kind of the time pressure and needing to like act quickly on ideas. I do think the board game one is more difficult. Just I don't know. It's just it's harder to get something going that's necessarily working, or knowing if it's working, and maybe needing to completely throw things away. Um, but yeah, it's so little time that you just have no choice but to keep slamming your head against the wall, right? Like, so you keep going with it. It actually, that point where I pivoted halfway through, I was actually meeting with my younger brother Daniel, and we were talking about it a little bit. And so, he'll continue to, he's probably watching right now, and will continue to claim 50% of the credit for all Tasty Humans for but yeah, getting, and there's something to be said for just bouncing ideas off somebody else and kind of thinking things through. But yeah, it's kind of a blur, right? Like I don't remember exactly how I was feeling at different times, other than it was like, oh crap, like there's only 10 hours left and I haven't written a rule book yet. But it's good fun.
Yeah. And so now do you walk around, like, so this Kickstarter is going to fund, right? I don't think I'm surprising anybody by saying that. We don't know where it'll get to, right? But so now you can walk around, like you can go to Gen Con and you can just walk up to people and say like, dude, I did this in like 24 hours. Right? Like now you can kind of look down your nose and scoff at everybody. Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean, I think, I think this was a unique situation. In a lot of ways, I feel like I kind of stumbled upon something special kind of accidentally. I've worked on plenty of other game designs that this has not been the process where, it just kind of works quickly. But in this case, it kind of did. I mean, there was a lot of development that still happened afterwards, and kind of changes to the core system and a lot of balancing. But yeah, that core kind of mechanic that drives the game was there pretty much from the initial idea. And, I can't explain how I thought of that at that moment. I guess tons of high pressure of a contest can squeeze things out of you, I guess.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't know.
And it applies across the whole game, which I kind of like. Everyone who's watching will see most things happen in this game kind of top down. So you feed once you eat some adventurers, you load them into your belly top down, and then the adventurers kind of reload in a top down fashion because they're kind of approaching the monsters. And if you look at my board here, you can see that everything's kind of vertically aligned. So just sort of thematically, it fits really well. It's like one of those games where it's like, wow, the theme matches with the mechanics cleanly kind of all the way through, which to me it's just really surprising that could come together so quickly, but I guess that's just the way it works sometimes.
Yeah, totally.
So here's a question for you guys. What's the plan for stretch goals? Don't give me all.
Tyson, I'll let Tyson field that one.
Give me something. Give me a little nugget. What's the plan?
Well, the recent update just went out that we are going to improve the King token. You can see on your screen right there that right now our prototype version has this little dinky yellow pawn piece that looks very generic and bland and boring, right? Well, we want to make it a King token that is special, and we want to engage the community to help us figure out exactly what that is a little bit. So we're going to work on that. But beyond that, I'll let you know that Ryan's done a lot of design beyond what you see on the table here. He's got a few other things in store for us in different varieties of monsters, potentially. So we won't go into the specifics of exactly what those are because we've got a number of them. And with any luck, we can hopefully achieve getting a few new monsters. I think there's some really exciting ones. Actually, maybe Ryan, you should share what is your favorite monster that you've got in store.
Oh man. So the monsters we still have kind of planned are I was able to kind of think more exotically than the main four we had in the game, because the idea is, right, you maybe once you played the game a little bit and you're a little more advanced, you may be able to play some of these other ones. And I don't know, yeah, maybe the werewolf. I won't get into what the ability is, but I think the werewolf might be my favorite.
Awesome. I was gonna throw my hat in for Minotaur. That's like my favorite monster, and I'm gonna say it again and see if I can get if I can detect a reaction from either of you. Minotaur.
Minotaur.
Nothing. You're like
We're both
the
real
poker
experts
face.
at social deduction games.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I think that this game and the stretch goal concept for this game, I think, is obviously there's huge opportunity, right? You can have lots of different mechanics. You can have a lot of different monsters. Everyone will see as they're playing, each monster has their own little special mechanic into how they score. So there's a great opportunity for adding more monsters and adding more mechanics for each of the individual monsters. But this game only costs $25 also for the pledge, which I think is a bonkers deal. And as you go and you add more monsters and more tokens and upgrade that type of stuff, like if people aren't sort of clamoring for it now, I think I can't imagine getting a lot more for $25. I'm shocked at the price point, to be honest. So kudos to you guys for being able to put it together, and I'm excited to see where you go.
Yeah, we have to thank Ryan or Brandon really on that. Brandon's the publisher on this, and he's done a lot of really good work working with manufacturers, working with different distributors and fulfillment companies and things like that to try and find the best possible shipping deals, the best possible manufacturing costs and things like that. And we're really pleased with where we've gotten. I agree. $25 for the amount of components that you get alone is, for me, I love the price point of this. I'm excited that we get to add more content at this price point.
Yeah, that's pretty wild to me. So what people see today, am I right in saying that this is final art for
This
everything
is
that you'll
final
see
art.
today? Okay, cool. And then I have a prototype, so I don't know if any of like the finishes or any of that stuff will change, but essentially what you see here is going to be what the game would look like, which is good. Everybody will get to see what it's like. Yeah, I mean, I'm having some comments in the chat that $25 is a steal for this game, which I really think is the case. And hopefully everyone here tonight will agree. So, okay, I think it's time for us to eat some people. You guys down with that? All right, cool.
I'm ready.
All right. If you are cool with it, Ryan, I will give an overview of how it works.
Yeah, go for it.
You comfortable with that? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So everyone gets to see how often I will be corrected on rules and how badly I can lose. That's the sort of the theme of this stream. But basically, the way this is going to work, we're each playing a monster. Tyson's playing the Griffin. Ryan's playing the twin-headed dragon. I'm playing the troll. Each monster has a specific way that they can score. And on the board here, where I'm hovering, just as an example of the twin-headed dragon, you can see that Ryan will be able to get +3 points for each row where the outer left and right squares match. So as he's eating adventurers, you can see the adventurers here, he's going to get these shapes of body parts. After he eats, for example, a wizard, he would get a helmet and a boot. And then he needs to load that helmet and a boot into his stomach. And the way that the loading is done is from the top down, as if you just dropped a wizard into your stomach. And you can rotate this wizard however you want when you drop them in. So you could drop the wizard in vertically or make the helmet and boot next to each other, etc. And as you're dropping these in, kind of like Tetris coming down, right, you're going to be creating patterns of body parts inside your stomach of your monster. And each of us will score based on those patterns and how well we're able to fulfill our personal craving. And Ryan's personal craving is he needs to have the outsides of his rows match. And so he's got to try to put a foot on one side and a foot on the other side, or a helmet or armor or whatever. And then the Griffin, which is Tyson's character, is going to need to have a groups of 4 consecutive horizontal or vertical tiles that alternate types. So kind of like an A-B pattern, either going horizontally or vertically. And then the troll, I chose the troll because I actually think the troll's mechanic is cool because it's thematically very funny to me. You have to have a whole body stacked vertically. So boots, armor, hand, helmet. Is that the order? Oh no, just helmet, armor,
hand.
boot. Just no hand.
No hands.
So just the 3. And so you have to have a boot on the bottom, then the armor, then the helmet. So essentially you got to try to load full people vertically, but it's kind of gross when you think about it because those body parts would be coming from different people. So it would be the feet of a wizard and the body of a peasant and the head of a captain or whatever. Like, don't think about the theme too much, I guess, because it's just disgusting. And I'm getting shade from the chat on choosing the troll, which I don't know. I like the troll. I'm 2-0 in this game, and you guys have probably played like 100 times each. I've won my last 2 games, and so I'm gonna scoff at your shade. Okay, so that's one of the ways we score. We're each going to have goals. As we're eating villagers, we're going to load them into our bellies, and we each have these personal cravings. And you can see that depending how difficult they are, you get point totals for them, and kind of I assume also how often you can do them in a given game. So Tyson and Ryan's are both 3 points. Mine are worth 4 because it's a little bit harder to pull off mine. And then in addition to scoring via our personal cravings, we're going to get what are called leader tiles. And leader tiles are from us eating the leaders of the village. And you can see the leader tile board is up here. And this is where we're going to be choosing leader tiles kind of in a draft fashion as the game goes on. And each of us currently starts with 1 leader tile. And we load them in right here on our character boards. And the leader tiles are varied. And this is where the game gets very different each time you play it. So we all start with a goal in addition to our personal craving. For example, mine is I get, for every single damage token that I put orthogonally next to this leader tile inside my stomach, I will get 3 points. Ryan's is he will get, and it's not just orthogonally, is it? It's anywhere in the rows or the columns.
Yep.
I could see it. I saw his head tilt a little bit when the rule was wrong, and I was like, I knew I'd said something wrong. Anyway,
the secret signal.
right. And then Ryan's is really similar. His is you can see there's a little hand there in the arrows in all 4 directions. So he'll get 2 points for every single hand he's able to place in his belly, either on the same row or the same column as that leader tile. And then as the game proceeds, you'll see we're going to get different leader tiles. So every round, we're going to get a new one for 4 total rounds. And we play beyond 4 total rounds. But the first 4 total rounds, we're going to get different leader tiles. And the cool thing about that is your strategy gets screwed up as you go. So it might be that you've been eating a lot of helmets from the people you've been eating, and then you get forced a leader tile upon you that isn't super optimal for helmets. So essentially, it makes it so you have to think on your feet as you go, and it makes every single playthrough very different. And so that's how we score. How we eat is we're going to go in order every round, and it's going to go in snake draft order. And so if you've never done a snake draft, essentially you go first player, second player, third player, second player, first player. And you get to choose who you're going to eat, and we do it in that order. These 9 adventurers are who we can eat from. And then once we eat one of them, a new one will get loaded in. And as we do that, I'll show you how that works. Essentially, they all walk towards the monster, and we load a new one in. There are special types of adventurers. There are ones that will hurt us. The swordsmen and archers will hurt us. And then there are ones that will kind of help us. If you eat a captain or a wizard or a cleric. Am I right on that? Yes.
Yep.
They each have different effects when you put them in your belly. And I'm not going to go through everything before we start just because we'll be here for an extra 15 minutes. But you'll see as we eat stuff, different things will happen in addition to us getting the body parts. The game will end when we fill up our bellies to this 3-player line. So you can see on our boards, this is for the 3-player game. If you're playing a 2-player game, you would eat all the way up to here. And a 4-player game is to eat here. So, we're going to go a number of rounds. fill up our bellies based on our eating. The first one to finish gets some bonus victory points, and then we'll all tally our victory points after that based on our personal cravings and our leader tiles. We'll go one at a time. This leader tile board up here at the top flips over to do the score tracking. So at the end of the game, we'll do that. And how did I do?
That's pretty good.
Yes. Now I'm sure you have you done that. Like, did you guys took this to some shows, right?
I was at Origins a couple of weeks ago with
Okay.
it, and I took it.
And so
to
you
show off.
probably said that like 10,000 times, right?
Yeah, I got very accustomed to it. So with your spiel was spot on, at least
all right.
for my standards. Maybe not Ryan's. He's a bit more picky than me.
Okay, cool. There is a comment. Somebody's hoping for a 5-player version, guys. So
We've heard that request, and we're contemplating it. It's a little bit of a tricky one.
yeah. There aren't, that is interesting. There aren't a ton of games that go past 4. I don't know why that is. Like, I guess it's just there's probably some bell curve that shows how many people are normally together to play games, and like beyond 4 is like way over the side. It just doesn't happen that often. But recently I've been playing like Tiny Towns, and that goes up to like I think 6 or 8 out of the box or something like that. And like that's super rare. I feel like it's usually like things top out at 4. But it's kind of nice to be able to do that. So okay. All right. So who goes first? Do you guys have a first turn decider? Is it like the person who last ate a human being?
Yeah, it seems like that never seems to break the tie. I don't get it. I think it's just randomly selected in whatever method you prefer for random selection.
Well, I'm just going to say that the random selection is that I put it next to my board before we started. So
seems pretty random.
Yeah, right.
You're the only person in person there.
I'm the only person who has a physical board, and I happen to put it next to my board. Okay, so I'll go first. As I was saying, I get to choose which of these folks I'm going to eat, and I have an interesting leader tile right now. This one that like I take damage, and I need to put damage near my leader tile. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to eat something that has somebody next to it that's going to hurt me, and so I'm going to eat this peasant. I think, yeah, I'm going to eat this peasant. So I'm going to select that peasant, put it down below my board, and then we load in our bellies immediately while you guys are thinking about your next stuff. So I'm going to reset, and then I guess our order will be as if we were sitting locally: me, Tyson, Ryan. Cool?
Sounds good.
All right.
Yep. That makes me super happy.
All right, so who do you want to eat, Tyson?
I would like to get that captain.
Which one?
The one on the top, sorry, next to the cleric.
All right, so you're going to eat the captain. And I'll put your cards over here just so we can kind of remember how many crowns you had. And for folks watching, you'll find out what the deal is with the crowns here in a few minutes. So that was Tyson's choice.
And you did take 1 damage here, Tyson, from that archer.
Yeah, and then I did as well.
I did.
So I'm going to load in a damage, I believe, here.
I just had all the room in the world. I probably should play it the right way, that it's supposed to be sequential, and not the way that I'm doing it in my mind that really doesn't affect it anyway, but for viewers to know that the damage always goes in first, so if you take damage, it could mess up what you're doing.
I'm getting some support in chat. Will is saying that James will likely win, which I don't think that's merited. I don't think there's any data to support that opinion. But yeah,
I'll tell you something about Will though. He's kind of deluded all around, so it doesn't matter.
Just generally speaking.
Hopefully, this is the Will that you think you know, Tyson, and not some random Will that you just insulted. Okay, I'm thinking that I might want to take this cleric here up in the top right.
Okay.
which is going to damage me 1, and then I'm going to immediately heal it because of the cleric ability.
Yeah, so that's one of those little bonus ones that I was talking about. The cleric will heal you a damage. Do you need to see that cleric's pattern, by the way?
Let's see. I think
It was a hand, boot, hand in an L.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I took it off. I took it off the screen a little bit quick there.
Okay, we're gonna drop.
And for folks in the first time who've ever seen kind of Vorpal board running, one thing I like to mention is that this view here that I'm kind of putting my blue pointer on, this is from a smartphone, which is mounted right over here off camera. There's just an arm holding the smartphone, and it's taking high-res photos of my tabletop. It's not video, and the reason for that is so when you hover, you can do cool things like zooming in very closely. If you're doing a video, it's very hard to get a close look at components and text. And so this way, for the vast majority of games, updating once per second is totally acceptable. And this is a good example where I can zoom in on my text, for example, and actually read it. And if this was like even a 1080p video, there's like no chance you'd be able to read it from that distance. All right, so Tyson, you're good with this one.
Did you take 2 already, Ryan?
I haven't.
Oh, sorry, Ryan. Yeah, not Tyson.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to take this peasant in the bottom right there.
Okay, I'll leave it there for a second.
Yeah, let me just grab that shape.
We got a baby on the stream.
That is my son. He's being wrestled to bed right now.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, that is the tough thing for like an East Coast person. So whenever I stream, it's always 9 p.m., right? So like I'm getting my kids in bed and like sprinting downstairs to like start the stream. But then anybody who's to the west of me, I'm like screwing up whatever their like evening plans are. Like dinner is now a disaster. So yeah, East Coast is the worst for the record. Also, trying to watch sports here is impossible because it's like everything starts at midnight.
Yeah.
All right, so you're good, Ryan?
Yeah,
right,
I think
cool.
I am. So you can pull that peasant out of there.
And so Ryan did some clever stuff there with how he dropped in. And one thing I failed to mention, when you drop these villagers into your belly, the patterns will break apart. So if you dropped an L upside down, it would hit, and then the leg of the L would fall all the way. So it's not like in Tetris where they retain their shape. The tokens will break apart as they fall, which sometimes makes you really think outside the box in terms of like rotating things in clever ways to get them to fall into the pattern that you're looking for. All right, Tyson. Who you eating?
Oh, it's tricky. I think, though, that this new peasant that just came out looks really appetizing to me.
All right.
And I, too, am going to do something tricky and flip it upside down.
Okay, so you're going to eat that peasant, which takes no damage. So you don't have to worry about damage.
Right.
And I forgot my damage, actually.
Oh, how embarrassing.
Trying to
Yeah.
cheat
Hey,
already.
Yeah. So that would have gone in first.
So we forgot to do something already on turn 1, and we're just gonna blow right through it. But I'm gonna throw it out there because if any eagle-eyed viewers ever watch this again, they're gonna be angry. Tyson, when you ate the captain, we didn't take away his row.
Oh, we didn't sweep it.
Yeah.
I was not.
Oh, man.
So the captains.
It looked different to me.
Yeah. So the captains. So this is a good example right here. When you eat a captain. You either are going to take his entire row, they're going to run away when he's eaten, or his entire column. Depending on, there's a little, if you look right there, he's holding a flag, and the arrows are either going up and down, meaning when he gets eaten, the column will go away, or they're going left to right, which means that when he's eaten, the row will go away. And we forgot to do that when Tyson ate a captain,
row.
and so I am already filling out an official form
complaint,
to send to the league office in case I lose this game. Okay, so Tyson, you're good. And I am going to. Man, it's a murderer's row in there with those archers. I hate archers. All right. I'm going to eat this wizard. No, I'm not. I'm going to eat this captain. All right, so when I eat this captain, we're actually going to do it right. Both of these other folks disappear, and we load in 3 new ones.
Oh boy.
Man, it's really getting red out there. Okay, and then I'll load my captain pieces in.
That is very red.
All right. Okay. Okay, so now we're done with a round. And so at this point, we would eat our leader token. So each of us needs to actually eat the one we started with and place that in our bellies. And then we are going to have to choose which one we want to pick. And the way that we get to choose the one we pick is whoever ate the peasants or the adventurers with the most crowns. And it looks like I have 2 crowns. And Tyson, you have 2 crowns. And Ryan, you only have 1 crown.
What a loser.
Sad.
And I don't remember who, what's the tiebreaker?
Least damage.
Least damage in stomach.
All right, so we're tied in that regard.
And then it's order of the token.
All right, so I go first?
Yep.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just don't take the one I want.
What's that -1 again?
So it's going to be whatever tile type you have the most of minus whatever tile type you have the least of.
Ah, okay. So that kind of really changes you for the whole rest of the game in terms of what you're going to want to eat. But you can get a lot of points with that one. I'm going to pick this this helmet one.
Yep. You would.
Oh, is that the one you wanted, Tyson?
Well, it was between that one and the most minus least, so I'll take most minus least.
Okay, so I will scan that guy in for you.
45.
And so that's how scanning works. That's the first time I think tonight we've actually seen any scanning. I just put it in this box. There's a smartphone sitting underneath, and whatever I put in the box will get scanned and appear inside the game. So it changes the physical to the virtual, essentially. All right, Ryan, what do you want?
Okay, I think I might take that diagonal snaking one.
I am terrified of this one. I never choose this because it feels like a lot to plan. That's a lot of stress, I think, for me.
It can get a little dicey,
Yeah.
but I have 2 options, so.
The irony is there's no dice in this game.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, it's like you're trying to make a pun.
It's
but
very tiley.
It gets extremely tiley. Okay, so yeah, that one came in just as 47 there.
Cool.
Blow that one away. Okay, cool. All right, so then the one that is not taken, the leader that we did not eat, will be thrown away. And then I will flip over the next tier, which will show us what we're fighting for in the next round. I would love to see. I'm just gonna pepper you guys with like unrequested like advice or requests that I'm gonna make personally while this game is going on. I would love to see what the leaders look like just like that leaderboard. having some real jerky looking leaders on there, so I know who I'm devouring. Because I like the idea of like, okay, well, every once in a while we just break through all these pathetic adventurers and we're just gonna go eat your leaders. So I would love to see some fat cats up there getting devoured. Okay, so then the leader token is going to go to Tyson.
Indeed.
And now he is player 1.
I'm going to end up taking some damage, I believe. I'm going to take the middle peasant, or the peasant in the middle row on the left.
Okay. So that's just 1 damage, right? Yeah.
It is just 1 damage, but it is still annoying.
Yeah. And then for folks, you might not have noticed as I was doing it, because of the refresh rate on the cameras, as I'm loading, this peasant steps forward. So when you put a new adventurer in here, you fill the holes, and then the adventurers come in along the top row. So this peasant out there already is going to move down, and then I load a new peasant in, which is cool thematically because it just feels like these poor bastards are walking straight into the monsters and just getting devoured. But I like that.
Can you give me? Was it a boot? That was left?
Yeah, sorry. It was 2 helmets and an armor.
Armor. Okay.
In a horizontal line. I keep moving it right off before you guys can load it up.
No, it's fine. I got everything but the armor.
A question from chat: does the color of the card signify anything? So yeah, the red ones are ones that will damage you. The yellow ones are just peasants and they have no effect. And then the green ones have pseudo positive effect, I guess. And so the red ones, the way that it works is if you choose a card to eat that is next to a swordsman in either his row or column, you will take 1 damage. And then the archer will damage you if you eat something that is 2 spaces away from her in either her row or column. So for example, if I were to eat this archer right here, I would be damaged by this swordsman, and this archer. So I would have to take 3 damage as a result of eating this archer. And so that's what the red ones are. And then the green ones are just either wizards, clerics, or captains. And those have not really negative effects. I guess I wouldn't even necessarily call them positive, except for maybe the cleric is definitely a positive. The captain is nice because when you eat a captain, it can clear out some of these red ones that we might not want on the playfield. Okay, so Ryan goes next.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take this swordsman up in the top right, which miraculously doesn't take any damage.
No damage, yeah. All right. All right, so he's hand helmet foot. Holy moly. That took a really long time to get out of my brain. Okay. Alrighty. I'm going to We load damage before the body, right?
Correct.
Okay, I see how it is. I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this captain here. Well, there's only one captain, but the captain on the right-hand side. And he's a horizontal guy, so he's going to take away the row. And then these poor souls will walk to their doom. Okay, and then I'm going to load this stuff in quick. And then I get to go again. And I broke the rules there. I needed to take my damage beforehand, but there it is. Okay, and then I am going to... Let's see. I'm going to eat this wizard right here. So I'm going to take another damage. And I'm going to load that one right here. And then it's Ryan's turn again.
Indeed. Let's see. Well, are you filling in the adventure there?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
That's all right. Just in case it's something real nice.
Yeah.
I think I know what I want, but worth a check.
And then the wizard, I get to do my flip after I've loaded his body in. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, so we haven't discussed wizards. The way the wizard works is once you load the body in, you get to flip. You actually have to flip 2 tiles, either vertically or horizontally. And while you're doing your move, Ryan, I'm going to think of what I want to flip. But I promise I will do it. Chat
Cool. I think I'm going to take that archer right in the middle when you have the chance.
Okay. Archer is eaten. Do you have the pattern for it?
I believe so. It's helmet, boot, helmet.
Helmet, boot, helmet. Yep. I'm going to flip these 2. Okay, and then Tyson, it's going to be your turn. I think, Tyson, are you on mute?
Yes,
You're
I
back.
absolutely am. I muted myself for baby purposes. No, Ryan took the one I want, so I was thinking. I will take the cleric, and that shouldn't take any damage. So
No damage. Yeah, that's lucky.
So I'm getting rid of that one. And so when I take the cleric, I take out the damage, and anything above it shifts down.
You know, I don't know if I've ever eaten a cleric in this game.
They can be really tricky because sometimes
I like the in this game clarification there.
I just wanted to put a postscript on that. I'm not going to confirm nor deny eating a cleric in other contexts. Okay. All right, so we finished round 2, and now I have no crowns, and Ryan has 2, and Tyson, you also have 0. So Ryan's gonna get to go first.
That's what we're talking about. So that second one there, what's the tile
That
type
is
on that?
armor, I believe. Let me take a look at it. It's far away from me too. Yeah, it's armor. Yep.
Okay. All right. I think I'm going to take that diagonal hand one, that third one.
All right. And then now it'll go just
me because I have the least damage.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't follow like a order of how we're sitting after that. It's always the draft order based on how good you're doing. Got it.
And
or
I will
how
take
good you did that round, I guess.
Yeah. I will take the diagonal boots.
Okay, diagonal boots.
The one thing about this game that I find is that it's one of the quietest experiences at a table of a game that I've played in a lot of ways, and yet nobody ends up being upset by that.
Yeah, I mean, it is. So this is one of the things that's hard anytime we play, a game on the stream like this and I just refreshed my cards real quick. Anytime we play a game on the stream like this, it's tough because there is like sort of dead air when people are just sort of like thinking, and that's sort of tough to deal with.
I mean, Tyson, if you need me to trash talk more, I mean, you just had to ask.
Yeah.
That's not what I was saying. I'm saying you're a terrible player, and I don't need to hear you interrupt my thought process.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so that's your diagonal hand, whoever that was. I can't remember. I think that was
That was
Ryan.
me.
And then
Oh,
here's
no,
the diagonal boot.
I gotta figure out where I'm placing that.
And then I am going to take...
Oh, no.
Calm down, Tyson.
Oh, man. I'm already like a disaster in this game. I'm just sure it's just going to be a nightmare. I'm going to take the one that anything that touches armor will give me 2 points.
See, I watched your other stream of Tasty Humans, and there was all this negative self-talk from you, only to win in the end.
That's
So I know your game. I know. I'm familiar with.
it's a calculated strategy.
Yeah.
Because it's the perfect way, right? Because if I embarrass myself, then I can just say, "Hey, man, I told you I was going to embarrass myself." And then if I don't embarrass myself, everyone's like, "Man, he really was down on himself the whole stream." But it just tells you that I'm essentially randomly playing because it's hard to pay attention to all these different things at the same time. All right.
I think, James, you have a question regarding Vorpal board. I think I know the answer, but I figure I'd let you answer it.
Is there a piece locking feature on Vorpal so the board doesn't get moved? So there is in one way currently. So we call in Vorpal board, we call this the board. Anything that's kind of being photographed here, and then we call all these little things cards. And you currently can lock the board, and there's a little lock button down here. And if you click that, now I can't drag the board by itself. It just treats itself as if it's part of the background. The nice thing for this is a game where you're playing cards on top of the board. You don't want people moving it around all the time because it just like really messes you up. We don't yet have the ability to lock a card so it doesn't move. But in this game, it would be very helpful to just lock the player mats. So to lock the monster mats. It's something we're going to add, but we don't have it today. So I can't show it to you today, but I can promise you that it will exist at some point in the future. All right, so I'm going to put these out there. And then the first player token goes to Ryan.
Okay.
Move that down a little bit. And if it wasn't clear, and I don't even know if I mentioned it, we're kind of like still in a beta. So this software is kind of pretty consistently being worked on currently. We did run a Kickstarter a few months ago, which barely didn't make it. We made 90%, and we're kind of regrouping a little bit and determining where we're going to go from here. If you're interested in learning more, you can just go to vorpalboard.com. We have a mailing list. So that's my last plug.
Not loving these options here.
Thanks, 2 of us then.
So I don't start actually losing points for damage until they're adjacent to each other. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I can down here try to sort of alternate between damage and body parts to try to maximize my 3-pointer.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I think I'm gonna take that peasant right there in the middle.
Okay. So he is kind of a Z.
Yeah.
Armor hand, armor hand. Does that shape have a name in Tetris? I've always wondered about that because I feel like everybody probably calls it something different.
I
think you're right. I don't know what it is though.
Okay, so now it goes me, then Tyson twice. Okay. All right, so I'm doing a terrible job with my personal craving. Just FYI. Damage gets loaded in first. Ay. All right, I'm going to take this peasant in the top right corner. and actually not take a damage this turn. I'll load this guy in. It's called the S tetrimino. Tetramino, right? Okay. Yep.
I think so.
That was embarrassing.
Tetramino? Is it like domino?
Oh man. Just look like a total rube here, not knowing how to pronounce tetrimino. Still can't do it.
You just have to say it with a certain amount of authority, and then
yeah.
people believes it, right?
Yeah, they'll just believe it, right?
Yeah.
All right, Tyson, what are you gonna do?
Oh, I'm so conflicted right now, but I will take the swordsman in the top right.
Okay. Swordsman in the top right. All right, so that was boot, helmet, boot.
Yeah. It's making for some serious puzzliness for me right now that I'm less than pleased about in some ways. So, but that worked out magnificently. Or less magnificently than I thought. Never mind.
So how was the breakup of responsibility, Ryan, between, like, obviously you built the original design, you got together with the guys from Pangea Games. Did you have kind of a vision for the actual content, like thematically, in terms of which monsters and stuff, or was that an effort where you worked with Tyson and Brandon to put that stuff together?
Yeah, so as far as the monster set, I think that these four are almost the same as my original submission to the contest.
Okay.
I think there was one of them that came later or switched with a different one. But yeah, as far as the further development from there, it's a lot of what happened from my perspective is the balancing side of it and kind of tweaking some of the mechanics to just improve some of the flow and kind of making it maybe a little more elegant than that original submission was. But then lots of balancing, as you can imagine, with the different leader tiles and monster boards, coming to a point where we have some confidence that we feel they're pretty well balanced. As far as breakup of responsibilities, Tyson did a lot of the work with kind of development. That we had a lot of discussions about kind of, what do we feel is left in the design that still needs to be worked on. He also kind of led the art direction and working with the artists to fill out art for the game. And Brandon with Pangea is mostly kind of supporting us in those and making sure we have everything we need and doing a lot of the behind the scenes, that you would expect from a publisher and figuring out all the things that as a designer I don't want to think about. Yeah. I just want to think about like actually, figuring out how the game is going to have good gameplay and is going to work.
Yeah, worrying about logistics and fulfillment and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That's not what you want to do? You don't want to get into that?
I mean, I only hear great things. But...
Right, yep.
Yeah, I definitely recognize that design is probably not only where my interests lie, but probably my strengths more than any other things. So, but yeah, it's been a good experience with our small and mighty team.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so which one, Tyson? After that, long-windedly, which one are you choosing?
I ended up going with the peasant on the right side.
Okay. And you already have his pattern loaded in?
Oh yeah, I already put it in, and I'm trying to just figure out one last thing.
Okay. All right, so now it's back to me. I'm going to continue just doing a bang-up job here. Now, you cannot pick something that will push off the sides, right? It needs
Correct.
to all fit into your maw. It can't go out the outsides.
It can't go off the left or right, but it could leak off the top. So, like, if you played on top of that tall column you have there, anything that would be above the line just doesn't get played. But at least one tile has to fall into your stomach.
Okay. All right. Doesn't help me at all. Hey, do. All right, so I'm going to take... Oh. That archer at the bottom gives me 2 damage. I don't care. I'm doing it. All right, I'm taking the archer at the bottom.
The masochistic troll.
Yeah. And I'm going to just stack up this damage from those swordsmen.
Just take the negatives, but you get all the
I'll get the
pointers.
3s. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So at least it doesn't totally hurt me. And it's filling up my stomach quicker with blood, which is also gross to think about. But I'll get the extra points if I can finish early. All right. So I'll load up.
And I actually appreciate you taking out that archer, because now that peasant right in the middle isn't going to give me any damage. And that is the one I want to eat.
Oh, well, good for you, I guess.
Yeah, I appreciate your contributions.
It's good to be
my efforts.
appreciated, I think.
Yeah.
All
Not by
so...
Ryan, usually.
All right, so I'm going to load that. Those 2, boom, boom. This armor will fall here.
I don't know what it is, but I get the feeling that I'm getting worse at this game.
It does. The funny thing is that it. I will openly admit, and I think if you guys watched the stream I did with Andrea playing this game, actually, like, this is not my style game at all. And it's not that I don't like kind of puzzly games. This one has a very wide possibility space, and when I say that, it's like you have this whole belly. There's a lot of... You're kind of building your strategy on the fly, and I like to be presented with a problem that I can analyze like all the solutions to and kind of make a decision. But this is really free flowing, and when I first played it, when I first read the rulebook, I was like, hey, I think I'm gonna get just sort of like paralyzed by this game like every single turn. But I've come around really hard on it. It took me a couple plays, and then I was like, you know what? I actually enjoy it. It feels messy. I never know if I'm sort of doing great or not, which sometimes can be bad, but sometimes can be nice. And so far, like, I've really enjoyed every one of my playthroughs once I kind of leaned into how wide open it is. So I guess kudos to you for that. But at first, it made me very nervous. I'm just not good with decision making, I guess. All right, so we are done with a round. Am I right on that? All right.
Mm-hmm.
So we all got to eat our leader tiles. I have 2 crowns. Ooh, I'm in the lead. I got 2 crowns. Sweet. All right.
Ryan, with his 2 heads, is swiftly avoiding getting attacked by anybody. He's got hit ones.
Yeah, keep an eye out. They eat one at a time
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
safety.
All right. So that one that's the less than sign times 2. I've never used that one before. What does that one do?
It's going to be whichever tile you have the least of in your stomach, you get twice that amount.
Oh.
So you would want to be really well rounded between
Rounded,
the 4
okay.
tile types.
So not me.
Which I actually am.
So Tyson would get 0.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that one actually.
That's perfectly fine with me.
yeah. I didn't get an opportunity to screw you over, unfortunately. Okay, and then I'm just gonna put that there, I guess.
Yeah, these leader tiles are not resolving the way that I need them to. I want other things.
That one on the far left, what's the tile type on that?
The far left
Yeah,
is a hand.
and
Yeah, it's kind of funny. When I was thinking about playing this game on Vorpal board, there were a couple things that stress the system a little bit. One is the size of stuff on the tiles is small for how far away my camera is. It's totally readable when you're sitting at the board. And then the other is just the sheer number of components. So we don't play a lot of games where we end up with, I don't know, 150 individual pieces. And so the first time we played it, we were kind of like, hey, is this going to deal with it okay? And it's been fine. You know, we had to optimize some stuff to be able to support it. But there aren't a lot of games that you do this many individual pieces. So, but you know, I think it's ended up playing pretty well.
Yeah, I think the base game comes with 220 tiles total.
Okay.
30 of those are leader tiles. So these leaders that we're getting right now are all different. There's not a single duplicated one in the game. So
Right. Yep.
that's for a lot of variability.
Yeah, for sure.
Ryan, have you made up your mind?
have I made up my mind? I think so.
Yeah.
I think I think I want that left one. That
Okay. The hand.
hand. Yeah.
You got a lot of hands in there.
Yeah, Tyson's not taking any of them, so I'll just eat them all.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Like that's your thing as a monster. Like I love eating hands.
And it's like
I'm
the
gonna
more
take the boot. Yeah, see, and my thing is I'm disgusted by hands, so I haven't consumed.
You
a
just have
single
like
one.
an inverse kind of craving
Fetish.
for hands.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say fetish, but you
I
know.
knew what you were thinking. It's an anti.
I let you lean into that one. Okay, so that was the hand one for you, Ryan, and then which one were you looking for, Tyson?
The boot one.
The boot one. Okay, so the boot one. Explain to folks what this one is, because it's we haven't had one of these yet.
I actually have one right
Oh, did you?
now in my board,
I'm
but
paying attention. Don't worry.
yes, it means that every tile surrounding it that is a boot at two directions up and down and left and right, so orthogonally, that's the word I was looking for, will give you points. How many? 2 points each, and then anything diagonal to it as well will give you 2 points each. So everything surrounding it can potentially give you points if you get all boots around it.
Yeah, so you can get a ton of points off that thing if you're able to put it together. All right, and then this is our final set of leader tiles. All right, and then the first player token, I believe, is back to me. And I will hopefully do something cool. You want to see like a real idiot at play? Look at this right here. I was planning on putting a helmet there to get my personal craving, and then I forgot what I was doing, and I put the leader tile there. Oh my gosh. All right.
Yeah, well, I just did the same thing, so
yeah,
you're not alone.
I'm in good company. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna eat this left peasant and just take the 2 damage again. So let me discard our cards. I get the double boot, but I'll load in the damage first. All right. So how many backers do we have in the chat today? Hopefully I'm just going to see like a whole list of me. Or I guess no, it'd be better if they're not, right? And then those people would be going in to back. So if you're a backer, give us a shout out.
All right, I'm gonna take a hit. I'm going to take 1 damage from this archer on the top left as I take that peasant.
All right, the double helmet peasant. I do like to imagine the world, right, where like you eat a peasant and for some reason it's got like 2 heads. You know, or like that swordsman that just showed up has just a foot and 3 heads. Just
the way I think of it is that there's actually a horde of these same type of villagers. So
okay.
peasants,
like a handful.
Yeah, you're scooping them up and just popping them in your mouth.
Yeah.
You get what you get. Sometimes you don't scoop up all the parts of them.
Yeah. Or this village is next to some, landfill waste, and they're all deformed. And,
right. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that exact same thing. You totally could make this like an under New York City mutants theme, and like and there's just like a big mutant that's eating all the little mutants. That's good. I believe that a family member of yours, Ryan, is in chat saying that they did back it.
Oh no.
K languish. Did I pronounce that right, by the way?
What was that again?
It's just K _
K language. That's probably my younger sister, Caitlin.
Okay.
Would be my guess.
Caitlin, welcome to the stream.
Wait, if I remember correctly, you don't have any siblings or anybody that is K otherwise, right?
Well, I have a lot of extended family ties, and who knows who would have shown up in the chat. I'm like running through it in my head. Got some long lost uncle or something. I don't know. I'm trying to think too. It's.
Well, she did say brother, so I guess.
See, I don't have the chat up. I don't know. I could have ran through my 3 siblings. Yeah, whatever.
All right.
Yeah, and then Siege Hearts said that at least 5 of them were from them, but they did say they backed it. I have a couple of friends who like Brainy on the fly games, which I think this is a perfect match. For that type of friends, people who like kind of a brainy puzzle game.
Humans with catapults is a suggestion, which would be terrifying.
Yeah.
Gobs of damage at once.
And it is your sister, right? It is. No pressure now. I don't know if that adds to the pressure or reduces the pressure.
Okay, I think I'm going to take this archer in the top left and take 1 damage.
Okay. So
that's what I'm thinking.
I'll leave her right there so that you can see that pattern if you need it. So have you guys gotten a lot of direct feedback from folks via the Kickstarter? Are you getting a lot of sort of questions and comments? How has that been so far for you?
Yeah, there's been a lot of chatter on the comments thread, and there's a lot of people very interested in it, which is exciting to us because we're very excited about it, and we love having the conversations about it. There's a lot of people who have jumped on the little thematic gimmick that we go with the updates and things like that, where we make it flavorful, pun intended, right? About the eating things, particularly eating people. So there's a lot of fun dialogue going on, which we really like. But there's some really good questions out there too, about how things work. We've had some feedback on the rule book and things like that have been really helpful. It's always great to get more eyes on that type of thing before it goes to printing, because then we can get as many perspectives as possible, which is really helpful. So if you want to read the rule book and want to critique us, we're always open to that type of feedback as well.
Yeah, that's cool. I think sometimes when people reach out to creators, they'll sort of almost feel like they're imposing on those people. But like I think the reality is always like you would love to hear from folks, right? So it's this weird relationship where the person who's contacting you thinks that they're being a bother, but then you're like thrilled to hear from them. Right. So it's funny. When we were running our Kickstarter, we got a lot of comments, and when we'd answer, people would be like, "Oh, thank you so much for answering." And I wanted to like respond to be like, "This is all I'm doing. Like I'm sitting watching my email, waiting for like people to comment because I want to answer questions or talk about it or whatever."
Yeah, the more comments you make, the more questions you make, the more you share it on social media, the more excited and happy we get. I can't, like, I've seen some unsolicited shares and things like that on social media as I've scrolled through like Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever, and I'm like, oh, somebody's shared about it, and that gets me so excited because I'm like, I didn't know this person was sharing about it, which is way more exciting than me being like, hey, do you mind sharing about it?
Right.
That's not fun.
Okay. What was going on?
I think I finished my turn. I don't
Okay.
know. So I think you're selecting, or who's first player right now?
I am first player
Okay, then we're probably waiting on me
for a
'cause I
second pick.
should-
Yep.
Yeah, I should take a second pick.
Oh, come on.
Okay, sorry. I did what I do every time I play a non-two-player game, which is when I accidentally think that I have the rest of the board to go up to, and then I clipped off something I wanted. But
Good, because I've made
yeah,
mistakes too. So the more you make, the better it is for me.
Oh
Okay.
man, look at that! Look at that bottom row. Look at that hand. You're going to be scoring mucho points on that hand tile down
all about those hands.
there. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good one right there.
Oh,
Very
boy.
upsetting for me to look at that.
Okay. Hmm.
There's some chat about Spirit Island going on in the chat right now, which is a game I have not played, but it is very high on my list of games to buy.
Yeah, I'm not a big cooperative player fan, like for the most part, but I own Spirit Island, and I consider it a pure cooperative game as opposed to something like a campaign based or like a dungeon crawl or something like that. But like a pure cooperative in like the vein of like Pandemic and stuff.
Yeah.
And as far as pure cooperatives go, I think bar none, it's the best game out there.
Okay. Well, that's a pretty strong recommendation. Because I like Pandemic, although Pandemic can get very much feeling like you're just planning out every turn. And yeah. I've heard that Spirit Island combats that because everybody can do very different things. So nobody really kind of knows well enough what everybody's up to. So it's not as easy for one person to kind of like just run the whole game.
Right.
I'm going to take this archer in the middle.
Okay, so one
take
damage.
1 damage.
All right.
Yeah.
The old boot hand.
The old boot hand. Yeah, I actually own Spirit Island as well. It's a fun one. It definitely is more thinky, low luck strategy than most co-ops. So for people that like that kind of thing, I know you mentioned you play Gloomhaven a lot on the stream or using Vorpal board. I think people who like Gloomhaven, there's a high correlation that you'll probably like Spirit Island.
Okay,
it's got some similar kind of strategic elements, I think.
Cool. Yeah, Gloomhaven's a big favorite. I mean, it's just tough because it's so big. It's like anytime we sit down to like play a game, it's like, well, we have another 40 missions that we got to get through in Gloomhaven, so maybe we'll just crack that open instead of playing something else. It's hard to get off of it.
Now I started talking and forgot my shape. Was it just boot hand?
Yep, boot hand.
Okay, cool.
Yep. All right, Tyson, it's you. It is kind of funny how these streams like this is kind of what happens on all of them because like we'll get talking on a tangent, which I guess it happens when you're at the table too, where then you end talking and it's like, uh-oh, what the heck were we doing?
This is tricky.
Yeah, I should take this opportunity to try to figure out what the heck I'm going to do, huh?
Oh, I'm going to take that swordsman top right.
Top right swordsman. All right, 3 helmets and a boot. You got it?
3 helmets and a boot.
Okay. Now I want to stop taking damage. Because I don't get any... I can't offset my damage anymore, so I really have to stop it with the damage.
I think that's the first time I've seen that a full column with nothing but damage and that leader tile.
I bet that it's going to be the last time you see it because the strategy is awful. But
I don't know. You're netting what, 2 points per
right?
one?
Yeah, exactly.
That's better than what I got going with hands. So
yeah, so maybe it'll work out. Maybe I'll invent a new stupid way to play. Okay. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to take this swordsman in the bottom left. and I eat 1 damage, which I don't even have room for in my damage zone anymore, so I'll put it over here. And then I'm going to make some little people in my stomach. Okay. All right. So I have 1 crown. Ryan, you have 2, and Tyson, you have 1. So we're tied. So it's going to go Ryan, Tyson, James.
What gave you the indication that it would go me next? I mean, it's hard to tell.
It's hard to figure out which of us. We gotta count up the damage just to see.
For the viewers at home,
Yeah,
James
exactly.
has more damage.
I'm literally coughing blood all over the place while I'm putting more humans down into my stomach. Yeah, for folks who so player 1 is going to be Tyson next round, and then let me get these out of the way. And then for folks who may have joined since we started, we're playing Tasty Humans, which is currently live on Kickstarter. You can just go over to Kickstarter and search for Tasty Humans, or Tyson has put the link to the Kickstarter inside the chat. And they are just over 90% funded. I'm not sure if it's gone up since we were streaming. We're not keeping... Tyson's probably refreshing it like madly over there. But if you haven't checked it out, go and check it out. This is a very cool, very thinky 4-player, I believe 1 to 4. So it has a solo mode as well, which is great.
Yep.
1 to 4 player game that we enjoy a whole lot. It's $25 for the base pledge, and they're about to start with the stretch goals. And I think I got confirmation there's going to be a Minotaur in the stretch goals.
We'll see.
All right.
I have a question, which is what the rightmost leader tiles type is.
Yeah, that is a hand.
Hand, you say?
That's your jam right there.
You don't want that.
You had me at hand.
Uh-huh.
That hand low.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be the one for me. Is that hand one?
You think so?
I'm thinking so.
All right, so you can get the hand guy.
Oh, this puts me in a bad way. Because I
haven't even looked at what these other ones are.
Any of those. Far left is distance between leaders, right?
There's actually 2 leaders.
Yep.
That one's a leader 1, and that one's a leader 1.
Which is not at all ideal for me.
Yeah, and I don't remember if we explained that leftmost one, but just for anybody that may have missed it, that is counting to the nearest leader in every one of the 8 directions from that tile. So I think both James and I have one of those ones right now.
Yep.
But yeah, you wanna space it out so that the nearest one of that type is as far away as possible.
Yeah, I think that's the only one that's going to get me. Oh, wait, what's the multiplier on the same row? 4?
Yeah, it's 4 in the same column or row, yeah.
Oh, I'm doing that one then.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. 4 is better than the 2 points I could get with the other one.
Yeah, seriously. 94. Okay. And then what's the row one? I have to have a different one of each. I have to have all 4 of them in a row. Is that right?
Yeah, for each row that has all 4 tile types, you get 3. They don't have to be in that order. They just have to be in the row.
Okay. Oh, great. I have 1. Ugh.
Yeah, you filled up real quick there. You almost ended it this round. You only have 3 spots left.
Just because I have, all that blood.
Yeah.
It fills you up. It fills you up, man.
I gotta pace my strategy here.
All right, so I'm gonna take that distance to all leader tiles, and then Tyson, this is your guy up here.
Oh, thank you. I totally missed it. Because I didn't really care about it.
All right, so let's see. Tyson is player 1. I moved it out of the camera's view there, so have at it.
Why would you put that swordsman right there? Seems like an awful position for it. That's all I'm saying.
I don't control. I don't control the random. I'm sorry. Although it's kind of funny, like Vorpal board allows for some very creative cheating opportunities. When we play Gloomhaven, sometimes I am accused of like not shuffling my action decks. You know, it's like, oh, you got two X's in a row again, and I'm like, I swear I am shuffling these things.
Which is funny because Gloomhaven is cooperative, so
yeah, people still get mad. You know,
you're cheating for the greater good.
right. Yeah, people still tend to get mad either way if you're doing too well.
All right, I'm taking the wizard in the top row.
Okay.
I'm taking 1 damage for it.
That's what I wanted.
Oh, bother.
Oh, good. More damage.
So here's an interesting question, rules-wise, Ryan. Like, I could end the game here and fill myself up, but then I wouldn't get to eat my leader tile, right?
That is true, actually. Yeah,
So
you're in kind of a unique situation.
So I want to just try to remain with 1 space available so I can end it on my leader tile eating. Is that right?
Most likely, assuming that you're going to be getting enough points from the leader to make it worth it to you.
Yeah. Okay.
Then yeah, you would have to carefully make sure that both your cards this round only have 1 go in, and you can't take any damage. Otherwise, it's going to fill.
Yeah. And the real problem that I have is I want to put the leader tile right there, which means I'm going to have to just eat here.
Keep eating one.
But I can't. But then I can only do that once, right?
Yeah, you can only do that once because you always have to have at least 1 tile fall in.
So this leader tile. Oh, I guess if I got the leader tile there, that would get this one.
You'd have to. The leader tile won't be able to get to that spot. It will have to be on the top.
Yeah, because I wanted to get here, so I'd get this distance right there. But
yeah.
Okay. All right.
James, will you remind me the wizard configuration?
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's armor, helmet, and then a foot above the helmet. I'm just gonna hold it out.
Yeah. Okay. I got it. That works.
Okay. So then Ryan. Then okay. Yep.
Yeah, I'm thinking. And
then if I end it right now, we finish the round, correct?
Correct.
All right. So I actually don't think there's a way I can get that leader tile to work. Because I have to take 2 cards here.
Yeah, the only way would be is if you take no damage and each card you hold it so that only 1 tile goes in.
Oh, that's right. I could have it hang off to the right so only 1 tile falls down. Or
yeah, as long as you don't go out of the bounds of the 6 columns.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So I am gonna try to do it.
Go for it.
I'm pretty certain you're gonna get that 2-point bonus.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get there first. I mean, you. Oh no, you can't because you already went, Tyson. I was about to say you're pretty close too, but
I am. But there's no 5 tiles, so I can't
finish it on this turn.
But you're gonna drop your leader tile.
Yeah, but he'll finish filling before. Oh no, I'm going first.
Maybe.
Oh well, how does that work? Is the order of eating leader tiles based on crowns?
It is not. So actually, you would both get the 2-point bonus if you both fill at the last moment with your leader.
Well, that makes for an interesting situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
That I may not be able to do anything with.
Okay, I'm thinking that I want something.
Siege Hearts, how dare you? I'm being accused of cheating in the chat. I don't cheat. I am accused of cheating because I'm the host. And when you're the host, people get antsy because they're sitting on a computer 1,000 miles away, and they're mad if they lose.
I think I'm going to take that swordsman in the bottom right and
Okay.
not think too much about it.
So no damage. I'll leave him there for a second so you can get that pattern. I like the art a lot. Hopefully folks are able to check it out. Each of the monsters is really cool and very distinctive. And then I really do like, I haven't done a lot of close-up looking at these poor civilians that we're eating, but they're neat. They're really stylized to like almost kind of like caricature-y. So kudos to whichever artist you're working with.
Yeah, Pet is our artist, or Piet is our artist. He's from Russia, and he's phenomenal, and like he's been a pleasure to work with.
That's
Just
great.
does a lot of great stuff. If you check him out on Twitter and stuff like that, he's out there. He's got an ArtStation page that's just beautiful with all of his stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. I love the monsters. I think they all look really good. We don't have my favorite one. We don't have, which is the legendary dragon. I'll drag him onto the screen, but I think he looks really cool. Okay, so
We had this debate whether or not I believe, and I believe Ryan is of the same notion, that the legendary dragon is female.
oh, okay. All right, I'm gonna take a look. Is that just is there an indication in the drawing, or is it just
It's our deep lore that we've developed for this game. Pages of backstory, really.
Yeah.
You know what I will say is that the legendary dragon does remind me a little bit of the dragon from Shrek,
Oh yeah.
the one that falls in love with Donkey.
That's funny. I never even thought about that, but you're totally right.
And it's the eyeball. That dragon, she has like a green vertical kind of cat's eye kind of look to her. So yeah, all right. Then I'll call her her. I'm mistaken. Okay, so I'm going to. I'm gonna eat. Oh, I got to take no damage, right? Oh my god.
Oh, that's right. That could.
I don't know if I don't think there is a way to take no damage.
Oh yeah.
You may be right, actually.
If I eat that captain, do I scare the? Do I
he
scare
would
the?
hit you first.
Oh,
and
he
then
hits me
would run
first,
away.
huh? So he's like running and he hits at the
Yeah.
same time. Okay.
A hit
Okay.
and run situation.
This isn't like you making up a rule on the fly or anything, is it?
Yeah. Did I get that right? That's not what you want it to do?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
that's it.
Right. Yeah. So I don't think there's one that doesn't do damage to
I
me.
think you're right. I think every single space is damaged right now.
Which is that's just the way of the
So it
world.
is. Yeah, that's a bummer for you. It's going to be impossible to play that last one.
Yeah. So I might as well actually fill it right away to keep Tyson from getting the 2 points.
Getting it. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm going to eat this wizard because I might actually be able to do a flipperoo and get something good out of it. And then we'll move the swordsman down. Okay, and then I'm going to take a damage. I think I might be out of damage tokens. I made a big pile for myself, and I actually used every single damage token in there, so I gotta go.
At first, I thought you meant in the entire game, and I was like, "How is that possible? You're the only one playing with the physical copy."
Yeah, that would have been quite an achievement. All right, so I gotta load the damage token in, and then I will load the wizard in. And a hand. Okay. And then do I have to draw again, even though I'm full?
You actually do not. So
Okay.
you'll take the Village King token for the 2 points, but now you're effectively done.
Okay. And then I'm gonna just look at my board here and try to figure out if I have a good wizard switch, and you guys can keep rolling.
Sounds good. So let's see. Is it my turn, Tyson? You started this round.
I did.
Okay.
So take something I don't want and make it so that I get less damage. That's all I'm.
Okay. Okay.
Also, to answer Siege Heart's question about how the theme came to be, we talked a little bit about it early on. But so this game started as a entrant into a 48-hour design competition, where Ryan actually submitted it to be entered as a or contestant in that contest. And what ended up happening was the 48-hour theme of the contest was released at midnight, and the theme was, and they tasted quite delicious. So Ryan basically decided that this was the theme he would apply to that contest.
Okay. I think I know it. I think I know what I want. I think I want this peasant right here on the middle left.
Okay, so 1 damage.
Yep, one
Oh, yeah,
damage.
You're
and then
crowned
boot
up for no reason.
for no reason.
You didn't clean out my damage area
Oh,
for
and
me.
it's boot, helmet, hand, by the way.
And
Yeah. Okay. Can't believe I don't get to put that final leader tile in. That was a real mistake on my part, taking all that damage.
You're messing me up, Ryan. That's all you're doing.
perfect.
Where are you guys physically located? I actually should have looked that up before the stream, but I forgot.
We are both in Colorado, actually.
Oh, okay, cool.
About half hour away from each other, which was a complete coincidence. After the contest and him being one of the judges in the contest.
Oh, cool.
So that's actually been really helpful in working on it. Can actually, play test in person and talk things through.
Well, if a certain software system ever is widely available, you guys could do that no matter where you are.
If only there was a way.
Right.
Oh, this is miserable.
I was just out in Denver for the first time this past fall, and I had a great time. Very cool.
Yeah, it seems that most of the people I grew up here. It seems most of the people that I know that grow up here don't leave, and then many more people move here, which is only sustainable up to a point.
Yeah, I was about to say. Doesn't that just lead to total overpopulation?
Well, we're seeing. I don't know.
I'm doing the math in my head, and I'm not liking it. Sorry.
Tyson is laboring over this last card choice.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take the swordsman at the top.
Okay, so no damage, and
so I don't take any. Yeah.
Helmet, armor.
I really don't care where it goes.
Okay, so we're done.
I have a quick question for your board, James. Did you end up swapping those ones you just put in?
I did. Am I allowed to swap the damage I just put in?
I just was curious. Yeah, it's the damage and the armor.
Yeah, so I would get another armor next to a leader tile. So because I have one that would help there. So I couldn't figure out anything other interesting to do. Unfortunately, I couldn't get another little person built. So
yeah, that's a lot of times how it is. You're like, oh, this will work great, and then you realize, oh, that messes up like these other things. And
yeah,
it can be tricky.
Okay, so you guys will eat your leader tiles. And then that is...
Oh, I completely forgot.
That is the end, yeah. So
I did not forget about that. So
wow, you didn't use that hand one that well, right?
Yeah, that's not going to get me all that much. I'm pretty pleased with some of the other things I did, but yeah, that was an oversight. I got so distracted by your pace of filling your board, I
just spooked you.
I assumed we were further along in the game.
Yeah. Siege Heart's moving to Germany from Florida. That is a significant move. Good luck. I can't imagine doing such a move. Although my brother just moved to Denmark. Similar thing. North Carolina to Denmark. And that was challenging. Okay. So I will score first because I went first. I get 2 points. Oh, let's flip over the scoreboard. So this is cool. We'll get rid of the play field here, and you guys can see what the scoreboard looks like. I'm just going to move the scoreboard down. And then there are specific tiles for each of the different monsters that you move along the score track. And so I am the troll, and I start with 2 points. And then let's look at my personal craving. And I have my personal craving, as a reminder, is to build little people inside my belly in a helmet, armor, foot combination. So I have one here, I have one here, I have one here. So I only got 3 people, which times 4 is worth 12 points. So I'm up to 14. And then I go through each of my leader tiles, and the leader tiles will get me points. So if I start from the left and move to the right, The first leader tile is every single armor piece that is next to another leader. Any leader tile will give me 2 points. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Do I get double for this one, Ryan?
Actually, do not, because you're just counting the number of tiles. So
Okay.
each tile is only counted once.
So I only get 10. 2, 4, 6, 8. I missed one.
Yes, that looks correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so 10 points. So I'm up to 24. All right. And then I get, for this one, I get points based on how far away helmets are in every single direction. So I get 3 points, 1, 2, 3, because these are just right next to the tile. Then I get a 4th for this one. Then I get 2 more for here, so that's 6. And then I don't get any in that direction or these directions.
Yep.
So 6 points for that tile brings me up to 30. Then this leader tile is I take the minimum, the thing I have the minimum of, and multiply it by 2. And so I actually didn't do the math on that yet. Let me see.
I see 6 hands. I think hands and helmets are probably.
There's seven hands. There's 3 of them on the
7
top.
hands.
Yeah,
Oh,
seven.
I
seven
couldn't see
hands.
under Tyson's cursor.
Sorry, I moved it.
7 feet.
Yeah, so it's probably your 6 helmets.
6 helmets. Yeah.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah. So 12 points there. So we'll go to 42. And then I get 3 points for everything blood that's in these columns or rows. And so I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 3, which would be 21 points, but then I'm going to drop a bunch. So that would get me to 63 points, which would get me here. And then remind me how I lose. How do I just lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for all these?
Yes.
And a 6th for that one.
Oh, right. Okay. So
Yep. So any damage that's next to another damage becomes a -1.
Okay. So I think that's it. I'm at 57 points. And unfortunately, I didn't get to drop my final leader tile, which is probably going to really do me in. All right, Tyson.
All right. So I think I've got, for my personal craving, which was to have alternating pattern, either vertically or horizontally, of any types of tiles. I think I only got 9 off of that. The bottom row, I've got a armor, helmet. Same for the second row up. I've got an armor, helmet. And then I've got a foot, armor over here. So I've got 9 from that, I believe.
Okay, yeah, those are the only 3 that I see.
Yeah, well, that looks right.
And then I believe my most tile are 14 helmets, and I have no hands. So I got 14 points off of that.
Nice. Not
well
a single
done.
hand.
That's because they're all in my stomach.
Yeah, they are.
All right, so you're up to 14, so you're up to 23.
Yeah, and then this one right here is all of them that are surrounding helmets. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I believe, on that, meaning I got 14 on that one.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's another, you're up to 37.
And then with this one, I've got boots diagonally. I've got 1, 2, 3. So I've got 6 on that one.
Okay.
I believe.
Yep.
Unless I have one down this way. Nope.
43.
And then boots surrounding. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got 8 off of that one.
All right. So you're at 51.
And then +4 for this last leader tile, which just barely made that difference, I think, James, right? Oh no, I'm just shy.
Yes.
Oh, man.
All right. But the 2 points made it. So me finishing
yeah,
my belly
That 2
first.
points
Yes.
did make it.
Yeah, yeah,
Totally
yeah.
did.
Okay. So now Ryan's up.
All right. So twin-headed dragon. I think I've just got these 5 that I filled up that are all the same.
Okay.
So that's
yep.
going to be 15.
Right out of the gate. That's pretty good.
And then this hand one at the bottom, I've got
Ugh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for 18.
18 points. And then we go to 33. Okay. He's running away with this one, folks.
I know.
I don't know. The snake one here is probably what I'm most proud of here. I've got, if we go down, I've got hands. So that's 1,
Oh,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's going to be 18.
Wow.
All right. Cut the stream. Cut the stream. It's over. No mas. All right. Okay.
I think he was cheating. He was rearranging his board as we weren't watching.
Yeah. I was like, nobody will notice except everybody that's watching this.
Yeah.
This guy here is to hands in each direction. So up I've got 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
All right. So that puts you at 59 already. So that's the lead. Okay.
And then the
Hands
others
on the
don't score at all.
hands on the diagonal. I have 1, 2, 3, 4,
5.
5.
Okay, so 10 more.
10. And then lastly, this hand one just gets these 2, I believe.
Yep.
For 4 points.
4 more points.
So if you were curious as to how somebody designs a game of pattern building, be really good at pattern building and you'll be able to do it, right?
Yeah. So, all right. No, that was good. Tyson, I think we did okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we were right next to each other, so I feel really good about that.
Yeah, I think we did
Except
fine.
for the fact that I've played the game about 1 billion times, so I mean,
yeah. So
you're probably a better player, is all I'm saying.
Well, that's a valid question. I mean, like, you guys have played it a ton. Do you feel that with the current set, like what's in the box right now, do you see like patterns in your play styles, or is it the possibility space of all the like leader tiles and stuff means really that it feels very different each time? You know, even for somebody who's played it 100 times. You know.
For me personally, I do think that the game is different every single time. Now, that doesn't mean that I try and not go for certain things. So sometimes I think, oh, I'm starting to get a lot of damage. Maybe I should strategically put it in a position that if I have the tile that you ended up with, I can maybe capitalize on that. And most of the time it doesn't work out. For example, I was really hoping to get the same row and column cards of either tiles for either helmet or boots, because that was really working out for me. If you see over at my board, I've got a whole thing laid out of helmets that would have been really nice. But
yeah, I was thinking of that same thing for armor, and I just never got one.
But that's the thing, is that no matter how much I plan and think, oh, this could come up, I still have to adapt to everything that comes up. Because even if it does come up and I'm not able to draft the tiles that, or the cards that are good for me, it means that I won't be able to have my first pick in the draft anyway. And so it's all of this stuff you have to balance out, and I find it really challenging to make sure that you're putting all these things together. And the thing is, it can be as challenging or not as you want. Like, we've had lots of different levels of players play it. If you're super thinky, analytical about games, you can really see all of these connections and matches. And then if you're just a casual player and you want to just have a little bit of fun with it, you still have a really good time with it. I always have a really great time playing it.
Yeah, one thing I will say is that there isn't a lot of, if you're going to try to like mess with other players, you have to really, really know what you're doing in terms of like thinking. I have a hard time keeping track of what I'm doing on my own board and trying to keep track of what other people are doing on their board. Like, I don't think anybody's going to do that very well. So even if you're playing with somebody who is maybe like a much less experienced player than you, they're doing their own thing and they don't feel necessarily like they're getting stomped on, they can't honestly even tell if they're winning or losing most of the game. So I think that's good, like, and at the end, everybody's kind of had a fun time trying to solve the problem. And okay, well, Ryan ended up with the most points. No big deal. it wasn't important for us to win, right, Tyson? I wasn't trying, right? Same
No,
with you.
exactly. I was trying to figure out my own puzzle and how do I make it the best,
I was
right?
just trying to increase my happiness via the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is all a favor to Ryan.
Yeah.
Just let him look good. That's what I
Yeah.
would.
Yeah, I think it's kind of crass to even assign points. I
Yeah,
think that's just
exactly.
it's just
We could have been done once you finished your stomach, and I would have been just as satisfied.
right.
We'll put in
Exactly.
the optional variant. We'll inspired by James from Vorpal board. Optionally, you can just put the pieces away once someone fills their stomach.
Optionally, as soon as you finish with the leader tiles, take the scoring board and put it back in the box. No need to worry about points. Life is too short. That's great. No, I am extremely impressed. I mean, I think I said this at the top too, but for anybody who wasn't here, I'm super impressed by the prototype. I'm very impressed by the gameplay in this game. And I think, honestly, and I know this is kind of a real base way to think about the hobby, but like the value you get for the cost of this game, I think is crazy off the charts. I think it's down in that realm of almost like buying a card game in terms of cost. And you have a really, really, really deep puzzle game that you can play with 4 players and has great art and has lots of little components and stuff. Like, I think I'm just very impressed by the package you're able to put together. And for folks who are watching, if you haven't checked them out, check them out, share it, all that sort of stuff. I know you have a lot of fans in the chat as well, but I'm sure you got some randoms in there that are just thinking about it. So kudos. Very, very good job. I'm really impressed by this one, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having us on here. It was fun.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming. For folks who have not seen one of these streams before, we do usually 2 streams a week. We do a team stream that's just the dev team, and those ones are kind of a mess sometimes, just because we're trying out new features. And usually they're a lot less organized. We just pick something off the shelf and sort of try it and see how it plays. And sometimes we find out that it doesn't play that well because we need to do some enhancement or whatever. But it does seem, if you want to see the thing blow up, those are the streams to come to. If you want to see me super stressed out, those are the ones. And then we try to do streams like this where we're playing new games on Fridays. Next Friday, I'm hoping that we will be streaming a game that's currently live on Kickstarter. It is called Legends of Novus, and if you haven't checked it out, you should. They're currently live right now. It's a very cool, almost like Talisman, but on steroids.
I played it. I actually test played that one early on with my playtesting service.
And did you? What'd you think of it?
It's got a lot of stuff going on there that's really exciting. Like if you like adventure style games and you want to feel like a hero, it does a lot of that type of stuff that makes it really interesting, right?
Yeah, I've played it through about half of one play. So by the time we play it on stream, I've played it a few times. But yeah, I think that Wes has something really good going there at Fundamental Games. So if you're interested in that game, I'll be streaming that hopefully next week. And you can follow me here on Twitch or on Twitter at Vorpalboard or at vorpalboard.com. We have a mailing list. And then guys from Pangea, what do you guys want to plug? Have at it.
Hey, you can check us out, obviously, at the Kickstarter. I just put the link in the chat, so if you haven't seen it, go check out the Kickstarter. Otherwise, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, under @PangeaBG for Twitter. Also, we have a website for Tasty Humans, tastyhumansboardgame.com. There's a lot of ways that you can contact us. My personal Twitter is @PKTyson. Ryan?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter as well under @rlangui. So my last name is Langewi. And yeah, it's come join us on the Kickstarter. It's exciting to see how it's coming along, and I know we have some cool things planned for past the initial funding goal. So come help us get some of these cool things into the game.
Yeah, and I just wanted to mention about James, your Vorpal board. I think that it's an amazing platform. It's got a lot of really cool aspects about it. And it is really, I think it limits the barrier of digital play because I play a lot. We test a lot on Tabletop Simulator, which probably is the closest equivalent that you have to this, but this has that physical component. It's almost seamless, the transition you get between the play with the physical players and the digital players, and I think that it's fantastic. So I wish you the best of luck with everything moving forward.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. That is actually a fair question. I kind of always try to ask. Our goal is to like just sort of make it feel like the three of us are sitting at a table. Like that's the big goal, is like to try to emulate that. And like people who are watching are probably like, oh, well, it feels a little bit clunky because they got to drag their little components around and put them on their boards and stuff. But it's like you have to do that when you're playing the real game, right? You got to like put your pieces, and if the computer is sort of doing everything for you, I think it might kill the magic a little bit. So we're kind of just trying to blend it as much as possible. So that's great. I'm always happy to hear that people enjoy playing kind of their games on it, because they're kind of the ones who played these games so often. So yeah, definitely thanks for the feedback. That's great.
Yeah, for sure. I would even add, for me, the thing that really made this an experience that maybe was elevated over games I played on Tabletop Simulator is having the little video feed that I can throw next to, everybody's board. I mean, that just enhances the game a lot, right? Being able to kind of see who you're interacting with, and, it's just easier to talk and conversationally with that. So yeah, it's really cool.
Thanks. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm glad I had the chance to try it out. I had watched the other stream you'd done, A Taste of Humans, so it was kind of cool to get to actually try it out myself.
Yeah, everyone who watched probably noticed, like, we go on a lot of tangents because we can see each other. Like, I think that so I play a lot of like video games, and like I'll play with my buddies, but we're we don't have video or anything. We just on the headphones. And like we tend to just focus mainly on the game. It's not as common that we just sort of like have that natural chat happen that happens when you do play physical board games together. Like when you're playing around a table, you just talk about things and go all over the place and laugh or whatever. And the video matters. Like it's weird. Like there's something about the human brain or whatever that when you see other people's faces, like it definitely heightens the experience and makes it, in our opinion at least, feel like you're playing the games together. So yeah, it was a key component was like, this thing's got to have seamless video chat. It's got to be embedded in the app. It can't be, you have to load up a Google Hangout in addition or whatever, right? It's got to have video and audio and all those sorts of things right in the website itself. So that's worth noting for everybody who's watching too. This is just a website. You just go to a browser. You don't download any software. You don't do anything. You just go to a website, and that's what you're looking at right here in my window is a website. I would minimize it for you to show you, but I don't know what's on my desktop, so I'm just gonna not do that because I'm not sure what I was working on before we started here. And then there was one question from chat from Siege Hearts. Does Tasty Humans or Pangea have a Discord?
Pangea has a Discord. Pangea, if you go to pangeagames.com. There's a link to the Discord there. I don't remember it offhand. I'd have to look to make sure I had it, but it is on the website, and it's not specifically for Pangea. It's for all creative types. A lot of the discussion there is about design and publishing and development.
Cool. All right, sweet. And then Vorpal Board has a Discord as well. If anybody's ever interested in that, we have beta users and stuff in there. So there's lots of just sort of inside baseball talk about how the system works and whatnot. So if anybody's ever interested in that, hit me up on any of the social media platforms and I'll be able to get you details. So anyway, guys, thanks for coming on. Everyone in chat, thanks for hanging out and watching. And definitely going back. The Kickstarter, I can't wait to see where it goes, and I'm very excited about the stretch goals. I can't wait to see the new Minotaur.
Keep pushing it.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just gonna keep.
It's gonna happen one day, regardless.
You're right. Yeah, I'm gonna make one for myself. I'll just print it out and put it in. But yeah, you guys have a good night, and definitely good luck with the rest of the Kickstarter.
Thank you.
All right, good night,
Yeah,
everybody.
thank you so much.